Hello, BookTube. Welcome to another edition of An Armchair Sailor. This is the second one. It's a series that will hopefully be ongoing where we explore nautical fiction, maritime fiction, sea stories, however you want to designate them. Uh, a subsection of historical fiction. And I'm trying to do different authors and what I have or have read of their series. And this week I'm going to look at Robert N. Macomber. This is right here, the first in the series, At the Edge of Honor. Normally I'd like to read while I'm holding the book up so you don't have to look at the top of my noggin. But in this case, with this blue cover and the lighting in here, it's a little rough to do. So Robert N. Macomber writes and lectures on maritime history. He has sea experience on various types of vessels, from the historic U.S. Coast Guard cutter Eagle to modern ships such as the USS Spruance and the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Marlin. He has been on Israeli patrol boats in the Mediterranean Sea, Hungarian patrol boats in the Danube River, and a U.S. Coast Guard patrol boats in the Gulf of Mexico. Macomber has operated locks and tugs in the Panama Canal and been the guest of the senior petty officers of the HMS Victory. That's impressive. He became a shellback in 1982, crossing the equator into the South Atlantic Ocean on the motor vessel Santa Mariana. Racing offshore sailing vessels in Florida, the Bahamas, and Mexico for many years, he has received over 25 trophies and awards. Macomber lives on a small palm plantation on an island off the coast of Lower Florida. At the Edge of Honor is his first in a series of novels on the life of Peter Wake, United States Navy. And I did, when I lived in South Florida, get to meet him, and he was very charming. He signed a book back then for me. We had been talking about the Coast Guard because I'm a Coast Guard veteran. Of course, he, as you can hear by his bio, had contact with the Coast Guard. So he wrote me a very nice subscription that I lost the book in a move. So, yeah. But I have some of these are signed. They're Pineapple Press editions. They're absolutely gorgeous hardbacks. Very well done. There's our author. So let's see if we can give a little description of the books themselves. So this is Pineapple Press. Excuse me. And they're out of Sarasota, Florida. And this is 2002. And here's the inscription. The year is 1863. The Civil War is leaving its bloody trail across the nation as Peter Wake, born and bred in the snowy north, joins the U.S. Navy as a volunteer officer and arrives in steamy Florida for duty with the East Gulf Blocking Squadron. The idealistic Wake has handled boats before, but he's new to the politics and illicit liaisons that war creates amongst men. Assigned to the Rosalie, a tiny armed sloop, Captain Wake commands a group of seasoned seamen on a series of voyages to seek and arrest Confederate blockade runners and sympathizers. First in Florida's coastal waters, then in a dirty and corrupt Havana, and finally near the remote out islands of the Bahamas. This is the first in the series. Let me see if they have, I believe they, right off the bat in this series, they do have some charts here drawn in. So, Captiva Island, Sanibel Island, for those of you from that area, Boca Grande, Charlotte Harbor, the Peace River, Caloosahatchee River. So I've run boats all through here myself, so that was why I had an interest. And also, right here, Florida, Cuba. So the next one in the series, also autographed, is Point of Honor, again in one of these beautiful Pineapple Press volumes. There's our author again. Let's see, this was from very next year, 2003. This one also has a chart of the Straits of Florida, Naval Operations Area. I always have these nice little chapter illustrations. Let's see if we get. I know I remember them from some of the others. Looks like it's the same throughout on this one. Nice little touch. Okay, let me see. Now the year is 1864. And Wake, excuse me, assisted by his indomitable Irish bosun, Sean Rourke, commands a larger ship. You remember last time he had the Rosalie. Well, this one now, it's the naval schooner St. James. Wake's remarkable ability to make things happen continues as he searches for Army deserters in the dry Tortugas, discovers an old nemesis during a standoff with the French Navy on the coast of Mexico, starts a drunken tavern riot in Key West, a town where that will happen again, and confronts incompetent federal Army officers during an invasion of Upper Florida. It all adds to his growing reputation in the fleet as a man who engenders loyalty among the sailors of the lower deck and grudging respect from his superiors. Along the way, Wake's personal life takes a new tack when he risks reputation for love by returning to the arms of his forbidden sweetheart, the daughter of a Confederate zealot. Key West provides a unique setting for them to prove that their love is strong enough to overcome the insanity of war. And through it all, even when surrounded by the swirling confusion of danger and political intrigue, Peter Wake maintains his dedication to balance on the point of honor. So, where am I putting the used ones? There we go. Then, moving right along, honorable mention. Again, apologize for the glare here. And then there's a new photo of our author. Okay, on top of what I already told you about him, he was recently honored as a guest novelist lecturer aboard the Queen Mary II on her maiden voyage to Rio de Janeiro. So, that's interesting. Again, with these nice charts. That's sort of hard for me. Yeah, there, let me see. It's hard to see in the camera if you're getting this. So there's, again, Pineapple Press Incorporated, Sarasota, Florida, and this is 2004, so one more year. So this one has different vessel on the chapter heading. Honorable mention is the third volume in the award-winning honor series of naval fiction, which reveals the exploits of Peter Wake, United States Navy, during the Civil War in Florida and the Caribbean. In the first novel, at the Edge of Honor, Wake commanded a small gunboat out of Key West in 1863, chasing blockade runners on Florida's coast and Confederate sympathizers in Havana and the Bahamas. In the second, Point of Honor, Wake pursues a mystery schooner to French-occupied Mexico, hunted Army deserters in the dry Tortugas, and raided ashore near the Suwannee River. Honorable mention covers the tumultuous end of the Civil War in Florida and the Caribbean, from the re-election of Lincoln in 1864 to the relocation of former Confederates to Latin America in 1866. Now in command of the steamer USS Hunt, Lieutenant Peter Wake quickly plunges into action, chasing a strange vessel during a tropical storm off Cuba, dealing with a seductively dangerous woman during a mission in enemy territory ashore, confronting death to liberate an escaping slave ship, and coming face to face with the enemy's most powerful ocean warship in Havana's harbor. Finally, in January 1866, when he tracks down a colony of former Confederates in Puerto Rico, Wake becomes involved in a deadly twist of irony. So, there you go, honorable mention. Now, fourth one here is a Dishonorable Few. Again, one of these Pineapple Press volumes. There's our author again. Anything changed here? No, same bio pretty much. This, again, Pineapple Press, Sarasota, Florida, 2005. So these are coming out at a pretty steady clip. Here's Central America, and then another one of the Upper Caribbean, both from 1869. here is the vessel on the chapter headings. So, in 1869, the United States is painfully recovering from the Civil War, and Lieutenant Peter Wake concludes the first shore duty of his career at Pensacola Naval Yard to become the executive officer of the USS Canton. Headed to turbulent Central America to deal with a former American naval officer turned renegade mercenary, Wake discovers that no one trusts anyone in that deadly part of the world, with good reason. As the action unfolds in Colombia and Panama, he realizes that his most dangerous adversary may be a man on his own ship, forcing him to make a decision that will lead to his court-martial in Washington when the mission finally ends. This historical thriller will take the reader from the sinister streets of Cartagena to the reef-stone coast of Nicaragua to the halls of power in Washington, D.C. Along the way, the ambitions of European empires, Latin American dictatorships, and American politics form a dark background to Wake's desperate search for a maniacal killer and his own trial. The fourth novel in the award-winning honor series of naval fiction, Dishonorable Few, has eagerly awaited by Macomber's fans around the world. So, this series covers life and career of an American naval officer, Peter Wake, from 1863 to 1907. It's a time when America became a global power and the United States Navy a respected tool for her country. So, yeah, Dishonorable Few. It's a little bit of intrigue there. Next, we have An Affair of Honor. And again, a lovely cover. I should be saying who's doing these covers, shouldn't I? Let me see if this one says. Pineapple Press, Sarasota, Florida. Designed by Shay Heaton. And it's spelled like right there. So it's 2006. Here's the maps. Always helpful in these volumes. And a lot of the good series do have the maps and charts and all that. Some of them, like Patrick O'Brien, you'll have entire books dedicated to just the geography of the volume. So, at the beginning of his fifth novel in Robert N. Macomber's award-winning honor series, it's December 1873, and Lieutenant Peter Wake is the executive officer of the USS Omaha on dreary patrol in the West Indies. Lonely for his family, he's looking forward to returning home to Pensacola in a few months and rekindling his troubled marriage with Linda. Okay. But fate has other plans for Wake. He runs afoul of the Royal Navy in Antigua and is declared a spy when he stumbles on shocking new information about a British ship there. A beautiful French woman enters his life in Martinique. Then he's suddenly sent off on assignment to Europe, where he's soon immersed in the cynical swirl of old world politics. After meeting up with one Peter Sharp Allen, a Royal Marine who talks him into a side trip in Seville, Wake finds himself running for his life after getting embroiled in Spanish politics. He faces diplomatic intrigue in Genoa and is caught up in the French, German, and British affairs of state in a castle down the coast at Portofino. Then his real test comes when he and his old friend Sean Rourke are sent on a no-win mission to rescue missionaries in northern Africa. Not the least of his trouble is Madame Catherine Fabre de Champlain, wife of a French diplomat. Her many charms involve Peter Wake in an affair of honor. And then, a different kind of honor. Anything different on the bio? Oh, he lives in the quaint fishing village of Matlacha Island in Florida's lower Gulf Coast and roams the ocean each year, researching, lecturing, and writing. So, let's see here. Pineapple Press, Sarasota, Florida. Again, designed by Shay Heaton. This is 2007. Nice chart here. Help you with your reading. And this is the chapter headings on this one. In 1879, it's 1879, and Lieutenant Commander Peter Wake, USN, is on special assignment as the official American neutral naval observer to the war in the Pacific. Raging along the west coast of South America. Chile, having invaded the coast of Bolivia, has gone on to overrun Peru and controls the entire southeastern Pacific region. Washington, concerned over European involvements in the war and the French effort to build a canal through Panama, has sent Wake to observe not only the naval war but the political intrigues of the region as well. During Wake's dangerous mission, as part naval observer, part diplomat, and part spy, he will witness history's first battle between ocean-going ironclads, ride the world's first deep-diving submarine, face his first machine guns in combat, discover an unlikely bond with an international brotherhood, advise the French trying to build the Panama Canal, and run for his life in the catacombs of the dead in Lima, Peru. In the War of the Pacific, Peter Wake confronts a very different kind of honor, one that will continue to haunt him. And while he is away, Wake's family back home in Washington copes with their own catastrophic event, one that will change all their lives forever. So this series, and this is my collection of them. This is what I have. And if I could do that a little neater so you can see the spines. Right there. This is not the entire series. I got them mostly when I was living in Florida, and I have not kept up with the series since I've been up here. And it's not because I didn't very much enjoy the series, just one of those things in life. So after these, the titles would include The Honored Dead, The Darkest Shade of Honor, Honor Bound, Honorable Lies, Honors Rendered, The Assassin's Honor, and An Honorable War. And excellent series, great fun. I'll try to catch up on it now that I pull it off the shelf and am duly reminded just how good they were. And I hope this is helpful to everyone. Thank you, BookTube.